Hey. Uh-oh. Look who's back.
Quick, turn it off and run.
Run. All
Run.
right.
Run like the wind.
Dazzling David Whitescarver and the Rick Hughes. We are back. Welcome to Bucs Live. What exactly is Bucs Live? We don't even know yet. We know it's Bucs talk. We know it's a good time. We know we're just gonna all chat and talk about the Bucs. Um, Bottom line is we're here for the good conversation. I missed you guys. Dave missed you guys. We decided we'd come back and chat some more Buccaneer football with you. So, um, that's what we're here for. We're here to have a good time doing that. Now, this is all going to, dare I say it, evolve. This is all going to change. This is all going to grow. What we're going to do will, will change. I promise you, get the studio back in order, the better lighting, the better camera, the better microphone. I'll get all of that back up and going. But for right now, guys, this is us. This is us. And I'm glad to be back. Dave, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. This whole Bucks Life thing, wherever it may lead, it's exciting.
It is exciting. You guys can always find our links on where to find us at www.bucks.live. We are at all of our Bucks.live, all of our Bucks Live, Facebook. We will be on YouTube, not tonight. That'll be next time. Um, we are on Twitter. We are all over the place. We are also, I want to say this, thank you to Bucks Report, old friends. We are on all of the Bucks Report platforms, from the Twitter machine and their Twitch and their Facebook and their YouTube and all over the place. We are kind of all over the place with Bucks Report. Thank you to them for allowing us the ability to share some of their airtime. And we appreciate that greatly. Anyway, guys, let's talk Buccaneers football. Let's get into this because the other stuff is all blah, blah, blah. All right, Buccaneer football. Let's get into it. First thing, let's talk Tom Brady. When last you saw me, I was a little more excited and amped up about Tom Brady. Guys, I'm going to tell you what I honestly think. I think Tom Brady no longer has the passion. I don't think it's father time. I think he no longer has the passion to play the game. I remember the Tom Brady that we got 3 years ago coming in with extra practices and getting the
Almost
guys
illegal practices in places he shouldn't have been.
getting people together at a high school and
Going into the
all
wrong house, thinking it's
yeah,
his like offensive coordinator.
yes,
That Tom
yes.
Brady that's so focused he can't go to the right house.
Okay, what we have now is a guy who he said he took 10 days off in training camp. When asked about it, he said, "I'm 45. I got a lot of stuff going on." Uh, yeah, Tom Brady during our championship season, he had one thing going on. One thing. The soul sucking drive to win a championship. That's all that mattered to him. And
All
something
that
has
mattered.
happened. Something has happened. Tom Brady is a different Tom Brady. Um, 4 turnovers in 11 plays by Tom Brady. All of that's a little bit terrifying.
Time to head to the booth.
Maybe, or time to recommit one way or the other. But I don't know. I mean, Dave, tell me what are your thoughts about Brady in general?
I think it's time. 100% of the time, Father Time wins. Tom Brady has taken care of himself impeccably, like no other athlete in any other sport. And he's fooled us into thinking that somehow, some way, he was going to go till he was 50 or beyond. If somebody could do it, it would be Tom Brady. And the problem is when these guys hit the wall, when they're aging quarterbacks and they hit the wall hard, and he's hitting the wall.
Okay. See, I don't think I don't think the problem is. I think there's something new that we're seeing, because I don't think physically he's hit the wall. I think the passes still have the zip on them. I think he still has all of that part of him still functioning.
Hey, Jameis Winston still has a cannon for an arm.
Well, right, but Father Time, we're talking about Father Time. When somebody hits a wall, they no longer have the ability. I think he has the physical ability, but I think mentally Brady has sort of checked out. It feels like he's, I don't know, that passion, the drive, that same guy that was there a couple of years ago doesn't seem like he's there. That guy who would be hell bent on extra practices. Now he doesn't practice on Wednesdays. Now sometimes he doesn't travel with the team. Now, I mean, there's so many other
2020 Tom Brady would not have done that.
exactly. That's my point, and that's
Agreed.
a problem. And I think that showed up big time this week. I think that showed up big time against the Bengals. I think we saw he still got it physically in the first half, but I just think that the team in general also following his lead seems less focused. They seem less driven. There's something lacking. Now I don't
There's
know if
also a
that
lack of talent because we had this conversation, and these were my thoughts looking back. Is that as as bizarre, and of course the Bucs had no choice. But when Antonio Brown took those shoulder pads off, he took off the chance of the Bucs making a run at another Super Bowl. And when you don't have Gronk coming back and you lose your offensive linemen to various retirements, free agencies, injuries, you aren't going to go very far. You're going to end up 6-8, even if you've got a Tom Brady. You probably got 2 more wins out of it if you have a Brady who's engaged. But when you don't, this is what happens.
yeah, absolutely. By the way, hey Alex Schomber, hey Christopher Cole, how are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you, and hopefully we'll gather the we'll gather the friends and get some new folks back around here. Christopher just said something very interesting. He just said, "Just get into the tournament." When we come back in about 10 seconds, just about 10 seconds, guys, we're not going to be gone long. When we come back in about 10 seconds, we're going to talk about that. All right, just get into the tournament. Let me tell you something, Christopher. Let me say this. I agree with you completely, Christopher. Listen, I don't know what we're going to be in the long run. I have no idea whether we have any shot in the world in the postseason. I mean, it's Brady, but let me say this: as a Buccaneers fan since 1976. There have been years when we played well and we really deserved to be in the playoffs and we didn't make it. So we get in one year where we really we're kind of backdooring our way into it and whatever. Okay, I'm good with that. We got playoffs, we got bonus football, we got extra football. I'm kind of happy with that, Dave. I remember the days back at Shenandoah Elementary School with you when we got killed for a year like this.
12 years of 10 or more losses.
Yeah.
Wait till next year became extremely stale
Yeah, I
and
mean,
uninspiring.
I remember Dave and our friend Tim making fun of me at the very beginning of a year because they were like, "You're already ready to say wait till next year?"
Yes, I was.
It was game one. It was, we were already looking forward to, oh, wait till next year. Well, you know what? We're in the
It took
playoffs
more
this
than a
year.
decade
Yeah,
just to get under 10 wins.
we're gonna get to we're gonna be in the playoffs this year. I mean, by hook or by crook, we're gonna end up in the playoffs. And can we make some noise? Probably not. Can we make some noise? Maybe. Um,
No,
you don't know till you're there. You don't know till you're there. You got Tom Brady. Who knows? Okay, who knows?
this
Um,
isn't Tom Brady we're used to.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is the new Tom Brady, and it ain't improved.
I agree. I agree. I unfortunately agree. It's a very this whole team is different. Everything is different. Now, this is what I wanted to ask you, Dave. Is the team taking on the personality of the head coach? Is this a Byron problem? Is this a Todd Bowles problem? Is this a Brady problem? Is this a what do you think what's the problem?
Well, we've touched on Tom Brady, and that's certainly a problem when your quarterback is not engaged like he has been previously at a minimum. It's also a coaching problem. Todd Bowles is coaching like he did when he was in New York. That's the problem. The run game is non-existent.
Yeah.
Everywhere you turn around, they have all the wrong stats. Going into the game against the Bengals, they only had 3 turnovers in 9 games. That's not going to cut it. That's not Buck football. Everywhere you turn around, and it isn't just the offense, it isn't just the offensive line, it is throughout the organization, defense and otherwise. I mean, Byron Leftwich, couldn't you be more arrogant when you have a horrible record when he's giving interviews? It's just something has changed. Something throughout the organization smells, and it really needs to be taken care of, and it's not. I almost have to keep from laughing when you go, let's get into the playoffs and see what happens. I know what's going to happen. You're going to get hammered. There's not really in my mind, there's no discussion needed. You're going to get pounded. Yeah. Why bother?
Yeah, well, there's one thing that is a holdover from our old show, Dave. There's one thing that I'm keeping around. Byron Leftwich, what the heck is your problem? Dude, I don't understand. I do not understand. It's not that I don't understand the play calling. This is really your first year in total control where it's your offense, your everything. I can understand there's some growing pains. It's your arrogance and the smug freaking attitude in the press conferences. Laughing at people for asking you questions. Laughing at intelligent, smart people like JC Allen, okay, who ask you a question and you mock him. You mocking reporters saying things like, this isn't fantasy football. No, you're right, it's not. We're losing real football, and you're the offensive coordinator. We can't run the football. You're the offensive coordinator. We can't score points. You're the offensive coordinator. Yeah, it's not fantasy football. Get your head out of your freaking butt, Byron. Ugh.
So if you're a Jaguars fan out there, are you feeling pretty good about the coach hire they made?
Wow, was that a good move by the Jaguars? They got lucky. Whoo, they dodged a bullet on that one. Holy cow, did they dodge a bullet.
So is it Bruce Arians? I'm asking you, Rick, because last year they scored more than 30 points per game. That was the average, was 30 plus points a game. Now it's a little more than half that.
Okay, my thought is that Tom Brady is playing scared. He's playing scared. I believe we could score more points if we had a quarterback who allowed routes to develop. They can call great plays, but if you don't allow the routes to develop, what's going to happen? Mike Evans not having a huge year. Well, what do you expect? It's not like he's the most fleet of foot, okay? He's not that fast. You've got to give him time for the route to develop and for his size to take over. You've got to give that opportunity. You have to let that happen, but they're not allowing it. Brady is scared. The ball gets snapped. He gets rid of it. The receivers haven't even had a chance to run the route. So that's a problem. Do I think
no
it's
Gronk,
a Byron
no
problem?
security blanket?
Right. No security blanket.
And Chris Godwin will not be 100% till next year.
Well, he's been playing phenomenally the last couple of weeks, okay? Last 2 weeks, we're seeing maybe a little of the old Chris Godwin. Mike Evans.
But it won't be full Chris Godwin, but prior to injury until next year.
Yeah, I think Mike Evans is frustrated. My question is the team, are the players kind of frustrated with Brady? Has the aura of we can't disappoint Mr. Brady, has that worn off? Is he now he always says he's one of the guys. Maybe now he is just one of the guys. I mean,
well, and don't forget the locker room has changed dramatically, and that dynamic is vastly different. You no longer have an Adama and Sue. You no longer have a JPP. They're gone. You
Yeah.
don't have that leadership that you had previously. I'm not saying that there isn't people there to step up, but it's dramatically changed. And this change has not gone well when you look at all parts of the organization and all parts of the Bucs.
Well, Akeem Hicks coming in the spot of Sue. That's a nice. I mean that's not terrible, but they miss JPP. Um, Look, there's JTS has not been everything we had hoped. Um, that part's a little bit scary. That part really is a little bit scary. So I don't know what to think about that. The defense seems to be fine. Look, anybody who says, you know what, we're going to get into this in a second because this is something I think is very, very important. We're going to talk about the defense here. We'll be back again in about 10 seconds. All right, the defense. I want to talk about the defense because they were been blasted because of key penalties. There was one on a 26-yard sack last week. Listen, I want to be clear about this. The defense should never have been on the field. Okay, the only reason the defense was on the field was because Brady was fumbling every other play or throwing an interception every other play. And if you think I'm joking, Dave, you just brought up the defense got 3 turnovers in 9 games. Brady turned the ball over 4 times in 11 plays. Okay, in 11 plays. We're talking, we've gotten 3 turnovers in 9 games. Brady gave up 4 turnovers in 11 plays. And then you're like, well, the defense, why were they holding? They're freaking tired. They're not getting, they have no chance. It's brutal. I mean,
It's both sides of the ball. And okay, let's play a game. Bruce Arians maintained his status as head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How would this year be different from your perspective?
How would things be different? I'm not sure Bruce didn't see this coming, and that's why he got out of Dodge. But how would things be different? Like I said, I want your opinion, Dave. Are they literally just taking on the personality of Todd Bowles? There's not a lot of excitement. Is this? How do you think it would be different?
I think they'd probably get a couple more wins, and they'd still play disciplined football, and there wouldn't be a fake punt that the fake punt receiver didn't know was coming. I don't think you would have had that. I think it wouldn't be as sloppy, and you probably get a couple, 2, maybe even 3 wins. But fundamentally, from a talent standpoint, the team's not what it was even a year ago, and certainly not when they made their Super Bowl run. The bottom line fact is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since 2002 season have not won a Super Bowl without Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski on the team.
Yeah, it terrifies me because as much as I can't stand Antonio Brown, that turning point in this franchise.
We didn't know it at the time, and it was such a absurd. It was theater of the absurd come to life, and the Bucs had no choice. But you can't deny the man's talent, and you can see he is out of a job, and I don't think he's never ever coming back to the NFL.
No,
But
he's done in the NFL.
he's done. But and so I'm not saying that. The Bucs had no choice, and I think huge applause to Todd Light and the entire Bucs organization to get a year and a half out of AB and the Super Bowl ring. The Raiders couldn't even get him to game 1.
Yeah. The only problem I think with all of this is the excuses that are being made for everybody and everything. That is not performing well this year. Now, by excuses, I'm saying we're looking at we're looking at Tom Brady and we're saying, well, look, he led us back to that, crazy comeback that we had in the last 2-3 minutes. We came back and won. That was all Brady. That's true.
You mean the Rams game? Are we?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I didn't
But
think that
this
was a
was
big
all
turnaround.
Brady. But this was all Brady also.
Hmm.
So you have to equally understand and be honest about it and say, look, if you sucked here, let's go ahead and admit it. You sucked there too. I mean, you did great there. Let's give you all the credit. But if you suck here, you sucked. And he sucked.
There's a little bit of euphoria.
Let me say this about Giovanni Bernard. I don't know what happened on the communication, but something happened with the communication on that play where Giovanni Bernard didn't know what was coming. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Nobody's been clear about what happened. And I think this is a symbol of the problem that I'm talking about. Nobody is taking ownership for what's wrong. The coaches, they go, yeah, we were out coached, but it's all about execution. Everybody's sort of what is execution? Execution doesn't just happen. Okay, when you say, is it the players or is it the coaches? It may be both, but
goes back if AB was coach.
Coaching isn't right. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I'm sorry. If BA was coach, I think you would have heard him take the brunt of it. We didn't have our team prepared for that play. That was a bad call on my part, something, or at least a special teams coach taking responsibility for it. But you're right. There's no responsibility being taken here. It's like Giovanni Bernard, like you said, I don't know, but what I do know, and I agree with you, nobody's taking responsibility.
Right.
It feels like there's nobody guiding this ship. It's just sort of, let's go out there and see if we can make a few first downs and defense. Okay, I mean, the Bucs were known for defensive turnovers in the last 2 seasons. 3 and 9. That's 1 every 3 games going into the Bengal game. It's not just offense. It's not just defense, a special team. It's just a travesty all the way around. And at the end of the day, it starts at the top. And this has a Jets feel to it. I can't help but say that. It has a Jets feel to it.
What do you mean?
Just the feeling. When you watch the Jets, I mean, they're playing better this year, but they're coming back down to earth. But when you watch the Jets for years and now you say, look, I'm watching the Bucs in 2022, there's a commonality there. It's almost like I'm watching Jet-like behavior.
See, to me, this is Buck-like behavior. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to look at it and say, oh, yeah, I remember this. We're back. I mean, that's what it feels like. The embarrassment, the shame, oh, man. Those feelings, oh no, all of that. Yeah, I remember those feelings, and they're back. And
I want to go back to the Rams game briefly. That great comeback that it was. First of all, I'm sitting there thinking the Rams are absolutely horrible this year. Number one. And they've continued to get worse and worse and worse. And it was a nice feeling, and goes back to the Falcon game in 2020 when they were down 17-0 at halftime. Oh, here's going to be this moment where things turn around. I'm like, it ain't going to turn around. You lucked out and won one game this year against a poor opponent. I didn't think there was this turnaround, and now the Bucs are going to become this juggernaut that's going to plow through people. I never thought that. I know a lot of people did it and made for a great storyline, but it was never going to happen, and it's not going to happen this year.
That's probably correct. Now, guys, we've been sitting here ripping on everything. We've been complaining. We've been griping. We've been moaning. When we come back in about 10 seconds, maybe it's gonna take a little bit of a turn as we look forward. Looking forward. Let me say this. The Buccaneers are playing the Cardinals with their third string quarterback. I know, but they're playing the Cardinals, third string quarterback. They're playing the Panthers at home, and then they're playing the Falcons. It is very much in play that the Buccaneers have a winning season. Okay. I don't think they're going to win the final three. I think they'll win two of them, but they could win the final three. I wouldn't be shocked. And if they win the final three and are 9-8, everybody's going to be talking like, "Oh, watch out, Brady's back." Oh, I mean that's what we're going to hear. Guys, it ain't over till it's over. Tom Brady did prove that. He has shown us what he can do, and it ain't over. So, guys, as if you're a Buccaneers fan for any length of time, as much as we've gotten all the griping out and everything, okay, guys, get it all out of your system. Get it out, because I need you to remember one thing, guys. Remember one thing. We're in the playoffs. We would have killed for that. We would have killed for the playoffs for years and years and years. And once they're in the playoffs, who knows? What if the Bucs win their final 3 games? They're starting to get some confidence. Brady's gonna, I think, leave it all on the field in his last playoff run, not play scared. I think stuff is happening. Guys, just get ready. I mean, it's coming. There's whatever's about to happen. We're probably gonna face the Cowboys. Get ready, it's coming. Dave, what do you think's about to happen? Tell me your view of the final 3 games before we get into the Cardinals.
They win 2 out of the last 3, and they eke their way into the playoffs, and they get absolutely pounded in week 1 in the first game.
Yeah. Okay. So you think they're going to get their butt kicked in the first game?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay. See, I have a slightly different feel. Look, I do think Brady is playing scared. I think he's playing to make it to postseason. I think once he's in postseason, this is why he lost to the Saints so many times in the regular season, but then beat them in the postseason, is because he doesn't get rid of the ball as quickly in the postseason. He plays with a little more abandon, and that's how you end up with a better team. That's my best guess, at least. And do I think they're going to beat the Cowboys? Probably not. Probably not. But this team, you get some confidence, and they play like they did in the first half against the Bengals. Could happen. Look, I'm saying this. Tom Brady has earned this. Tom Brady has earned this one thing. I'm not going to count you out. All right? Let's go ahead. It's like maybe in I'm going to throw a baseball analogy out there. Kirk Gibson coming to the plate. That what's left of Kirk Gibson coming to the plate. He can barely walk. He's he's old. He's beat up. He gets out there and he hits this epic. Everybody remembers home run. And I'm not putting that past Brady. Okay, Tom Brady has that in him. My only question is, does his coaching staff have it in him? And does the rest of the team have it in him? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you wanted this to be an upbeat part of the show. And so what I did was I started looking at draft picks for next year. That was my thought. Right. However, on any given Sunday, that's the thing. I was just thinking, who in the NFC has stood out? I mean, the Cowboys have not been playing good football.
The
Eagles, but now you've got a Jalen Hurts with a clipped wing. He's going to play, but there was talk that he wasn't even going to play this week. So if he goes down, or if he's not, or even worse, he's not as effective, then perhaps they're not all we thought they were. And quite frankly, they're a very young team. The 49ers have Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback, and at some point there's going to be enough film out there and enough schemes defensive coordinators are going to come up with. They're going to shut him down as well.
Does
The
that
Vikings,
affect you this weekend? Or go ahead about the Vikings. I want to hear
well, the Vikings, I mean, they're like bipolar within a game, for goodness
that.
sake. I
Well,
mean,
like
I,
the Bucks,
you don't know what you're going to get.
right?
And I just can't see them winning like 3 straight games to get to the Super Bowl. I just can't against top competition. But that leaves you with who? San Francisco? I, you
Brock
know,
Purdy.
Purdy, I don't think he's going to cut it, but you never know. I mean,
So it's probably coming from the AFC. All right, the champions probably come, but any given Sunday, you don't know in a one game. You don't know if it's seriously. If you say Philadelphia against Kansas City or Buffalo, listen, anybody can win that game. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What do you see? Let me ask you, Dave. What's the solution when it comes to the Buccaneers? What is the solution? What is it that would make you like? I'm at least hopeful for the rest of the season that they can get on sort of a little run here in these last 3 games, looking who the opponents are. When we come back, Dave, I want you to tell me uh, what is it going to take? What would it take for you to sort of just start to see things a little more positively? What would it take? Okay, Dave. Tell
Rob
me.
Gronkowski comes out of retirement. No, I'm serious. I'm looking at the Bengals game. They were basically shut out in the second half, except for that meaningless touchdown at the end. That's 17 points. They put up a whopping 7 against the 49ers. In a win against the Saints, they put up 17. 17 in a loss to the Browns. I mean, I don't see this changing around, not with the personnel they have on offense. I don't see it. And I don't see Ryan Jensen coming back anytime soon. Ryan Jensen coming back, Rob Gronkowski coming out of retirement would get me excited.
Okay. Well, Ryan Jensen, they're saying they hope January. Yeah, I mean, he was out on the field snapping the ball to Brady before the game. Not in pads or anything, but yeah, he was out on the field, out there snapping the ball to Brady. I think that's coming. Uh, Tristan Wirfs, probably not this week, but it's coming. Vita Vea, probably not this week, but it's coming. You got maybe one more week without him. Look, the bottom line is this: they're going to be in the playoffs. It's basically, look, let me ask you this. Who's going to win the game, the Panthers or the Detroit Lions? The Lions. It's not even close. Okay, so the Lions win that game. The Panthers are pretty much out of it, even if the Bucs lose. I mean, that could it happen that the Bucs don't make the playoffs? It could, mathematically, but it's going to take a long shot. The Panthers are really the only team that the Bucs really need to worry about or be concerned about right now, and that's because the Panthers beat the Bucs. So a tie, then things get a little screwy. But the Bucs have the better division record. The Bucs, I mean, if they can split with the Panthers, if the Bucs split with the Panthers, the division is theirs.
And you'll get your playoff game, singular.
Well, maybe.
I would love to sit there and say that there is a recipe for the Bucs to put a smile on our face this year. At least from my perspective, I don't see that happening. I wish I did, but
that's kind of unfair though, because you've even said to me off the air, you've even said, "Hey guys, it's time to, as Bucs fans, we should kind of be enjoying this." I mean,
okay, now this is different. I'm talking about this season. We have come off of last year. We won the division for the first time in 13 years. Yay. I was excited. I thought that was great. And the year before, we won our second Super Bowl. Second. The combined totals of those Super Bowls is 79 for the Bucs, 30 for the other team, 2 blowouts. Okay. and we've had this discussion. 4 teams have never been to the Super Bowl. That's 12.5% of the league. And 37.5%, 12 teams have never won a Super Bowl. From that perspective, I think that we need to step back and say, bravo for the last couple years. But if you're looking at this year, or if you're looking for some spark that's going to create this inferno and the Bucs are going to just start tearing it up and making a run, it's not going to happen. And I thought there was a realistic chance I would tell you so, but I don't see it. But yes, we need to appreciate what this team has done. I feel bad for a lot of Buck fans who it's been difficult for you to enjoy a division win and a Super Bowl win and having a legendary quarterback. I mean, it's been difficult. It's like they didn't win by enough. Oh, they should have scored. I mean, it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. I'm like, it's pretty good.
Jameis would have won the Super Bowl by more. Yeah.
When you think of like the Atlanta Falcons, what's the first thing that comes to mind? 28-3.
Yeah.
When it's the Bucs, it's 79-30 in 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
In your favor.
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be some level of appreciation for what this team has accomplished in a very short amount of time. And Todd Light deserves a lot of respect. But if we're talking about this season and you think there's somehow going to be a flip, I don't see that coming.
Even if his name is Jason. But Todd Light, whoever that is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Todd Light. Actually, I do know Todd Light. I believe he does radio. Jason Light.
Absolutely. Jason Light. Well, he deserves credit too.
Oh, man. Yeah, and
I feel like Harry Carey about now. Oh boy, it's been a long night and my shoes sure do hurt.
And that quarterback, Jim Brady. But
okay, you got me. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
You kind of teed me up on that one.
There
all right, we'll be back in a second, and let's talk very specifically about this week's game.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Forget last week's game. Forget all the previous games. Let's talk about this game. The Bucs and the Cardinals. I forgot who their number 3 quarterback is. I don't even remember the name of the guy. Somebody put it in chat if you want to, or whatever. The Bucs will be facing, I don't know, whoever, yet again, a number 3 quarterback like Brock Purdy. Once again, the Bucs.
Trace McSorley. Hey, his family's going to be excited for him. He's going to go out there and start an NFL game. I mean, little respect.
You're misunderstanding my reaction. Is more like, so that's who we're going to have trouble with, because that's how it works with the Bucs. Okay, Brock Purdy beat the crap out of us. Now, what's his name?
Trace McSorley. 6 foot, 202 pounds. Penn State. 6th-round draft pick, 2019 draft, pick 197. So he's ahead of Brock Purdy. He wasn't Mr. Irrelevant.
He's ahead of Brady. Brady was 199.
Well, there you go.
So
he's got. I see a lot. I see a stellar career for him.
Yes, a brighter future than Tom Brady when coming out of college. But now, guys, I believe the Bucs are going to win this game. Now, understand, I am not the most optimistic about the Bucs this year. I love them, but let me say this, and Dave, you can attest to this, having known me since first grade. The Cardinals and the Vikings are kind of my second teams, correct?
Yes,
It's
you have
always
been
been that
very
way.
consistent with that.
Yes. I mean, going back to elementary school. All right.
Jim Hart days,
That's
Terry
correct.
Metcalf,
That is correct. Conrad Dobler.
Fran
So that
Tarkington,
yeah, that is
George
absolutely
Foreman,
correct.
not the
So
boxer.
Chuck Foreman.
Chuck Foreman. I'm on a roll.
um, so guys, I think they're going to win this game. Even though I like the Cardinals, I think the Bucs are going to win this game. All right. I think the season will pretty much come down to the next two games. We're going to know after the next two games what's up. If it comes down to the final game in Atlanta, that's just so sad. But I believe the Bucs are going to go on a little run here, and lo and behold, the Bucs may end up with a winning record. All right. I think that this game, when I look ahead to this game, I believe that what happened this last week, I think the team is going to take some from that first half. Look, Tom Brady is not going to put the ball on the on the carpet or in the other team's hands 4 times in 11 plays ever again. Okay? Ever again. Tom Brady's not going to do that. All right? I believe the Bucs are going to win this game, and when they do, everybody starts going, well, wait a minute, because now, okay, they're 7-8. They're going to play the Panthers, and I believe that the Panthers are going to have hell to pay for beating the Buccaneers the first time. That makes them 8-8. The final week is whether or not they have a winning record. You go into the playoffs with a winning record at 9-8, all of a sudden you start going, well, because you know this team's going to start to believe in itself a little more. Dallas always struggles and chokes in the postseason. You're counting it as already over. I think that's wrong, Dave, and we'll save more of that for next week.
I mean, when you look at the schedule, the Bucs are going to be favored in all 3 games. So
they could end up being 9-8 and have a winning record.
Yeah, they're an average to slightly below average team, but when you play horrible teams, you're going to come out okay. So
that's
they
not
could
true
be
necessarily. They've lost to some horrible teams. Okay, but they've also beat some pretty decent teams.
Well,
and what you're gonna do though, Dave, is you're gonna say, well, yeah, I know they beat those teams, but that was lucky or that was whatever. But they lost to these horrible teams, and you're gonna embrace that. Maybe you're gonna wrap your mind around that.
What is your signature win for the Bucs this year?
I don't think we've seen it yet. I don't think you've seen it.
But if you had to pick one, what would it be?
The Rams.
The Rams?
Yeah. I think the Rams game or the Cowboys game. Yeah.
Well, I mean, on paper, it's a Cowboys game, but that was week 1 and so far long ago.
There you go. I told you you're going to. Well, the win against the good team doesn't really count because here's why the win against the good team doesn't count. Okay, Dave, what about the Rams? Well, the win against the bad team doesn't really count because they're a bad team. Well, okay, Dave.
Well, I'm just asking what the signature win would be. They beat the Seahawks and scored 21 points. That on paper, that's their biggest win of the year.
Okay. But you're already throwing in the towel, and I say stop. Season ain't over yet. If you remember the Super Bowl year, people were crying all about Brady and Arians not getting along, and there were all kinds of rumors and all, it was over. Brady hit the wall over the cliff. You remember all that? And by the end of the year, everybody forgot about all that. And let me tell you something. You will sit here on this show and be like, yeah, I knew it was happening. I knew it.
I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they absolutely hand it to the Cardinals and they score 25 or more points every game the rest of the year. I hope. I don't see it, but I hope. There's a difference between seeing and hoping. I don't see it here.
I
I
understand
hope
that.
I'm wrong.
Go along with that. No, I can go along with that. I can understand what you're saying. We don't see a team. Look, I think you would agree with this. They are not playing to their potential, like we saw in the first half. We have not seen them put a game together yet. If they begin to play to their potential, Brady doesn't get rid of the ball in, 0.75 seconds and allows his receivers, that the opportunity. By the way, ironic in all of this, with Mike Evans having the bad year that he's having, Mike Evans has. Oh, I mean, he's doing better this year yardage wise than he did last year. I don't know how that's the case because it doesn't seem like Brady's throwing him anything. But he's at 880 yards or something, 850 right now, I believe, something like
Uh,
that.
he hasn't been injured much this year. I mean,
Well,
his hamstrings are always a
you
little
can't tell
tight
that by
and
looking at
tense,
him. But no, he missed. But
but
he got suspended for a game. But I mean, yeah, you're right. He has not been injured. You're correct. Look, I don't know what's. All I can say is this: if the troops get healthy and this team gets into the playoffs, and Tom Brady is the quarterback, I wouldn't want to face him. I
oh
wouldn't.
no, I mean it's not a winning proposition to face the Bucs in the first round because of the expectations. You're going to
Right.
be at home, and yeah, if you don't win, you're going to hear it from your fan base. So I agree with that. You don't want to give the old man one more shot.
Right.
But it, it's like going back to that 17 to nothing Falcons game in 2020 when you knew they were going to come out roaring and they
Yeah,
never look
I
back.
have not had that feeling. You're correct.
We've been talking about more than just a team gelling together or a team getting comfortable with one another like they were at that point. We're talking about people not taking responsibility for botched plays. We're talking about defensive interviews where people are getting out of hand. There's locker room issues. It seems to me we're actually talking about Tom Brady not being engaged like he has been in even 2 seasons ago or even last season. I mean, these are not little things. These are major things. And it's more than just coming together, getting the reps in, getting playing time together. This is more structural. This is issues that you just don't resolve going out and winning a football game.
No, but you build your confidence and those issues. Look, they ran a different type of offense in the first half last week. My question is, why didn't they run that same offense in the second half? They finally seemed like they figured it out. They were finally just the entire offensive scheme made sense, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll
Well,
see.
last year they threw first and ran second. This year they've been running first and throwing second. And if they're throwing, it's short passes for the most part.
Yeah,
Quick down and out. I mean, real
yeah,
short.
yeah. Very
Like you
short.
said, playing scared. But great for the change, but there comes a point where a coach can be stubborn in his ways. And if your commitment was to run the football come hell or high water, well, look at your personnel and look at your offensive line. Maybe you need to rethink that. And if
Well,
that's the case, more power to them. But I mean, last year wasn't the controversy that Tom Brady was getting game plan and Byron Leftwich was getting game plans back from Bruce Arians with red marks out all over them. I
yeah.
mean, that was the huge
We need that red
controversy for a
marker back.
while.
We need that red
Um,
marker back.
so now is it Todd Bowles is calling the shots?
Well, no, on
Yeah,
offense, Bowles doesn't have anything to do with it. That's known. This is all, but
but
it's either
he want,
Brady or Leftwich.
but he wants a commitment to running the football.
No, I understand that. And
And
our run,
Bruce
by the
Arians
way,
didn't.
but hold on, the running the football. Let me say this: as the year has gone along, has gotten much better. They are now not as horrible. They were horrible at the beginning of the year. The problem also is they were so predictable at the beginning of the year. You knew they were running the ball on first down always, every time, without exception. And now the play calling's been a little different, a little better. But it does feel like maybe being a head coach isn't maybe Todd Bowles' best what he's best suited for. I mean, when he's making decisions like what you saw with the fake punt when they're which I still don't understand why you would choose on 4th and 1, why you would decide that a fake punt gives you the best chance to get that 1 yard. Why wouldn't you just run it if you're going to run it? Why wouldn't you? I mean, why would you think that's your best opportunity to get 1 yard?
They were
Something's
going for it on
odd.
4th down, and there was sort of a swashbuckling aura that they were trying to create about the game. But it just,
Well, they
if
weren't
things
going
are
for it. I mean, they were
where
in
they
punt
went for it made no
formation.
sense.
They
I
were
mean,
in punt
if you're
formation, then they snapped the ball, and the one guy who didn't know that a fake punt had been called was Giovanni Bernard, and that's who they snapped the ball to. I mean, he got hit in the head by the ball. I mean, anybody who says, well, the snap was a little too high,
that just
it
feels
hit him
like
in
the
the
Jets.
face.
Doesn't that feel like the Jets?
Yeah, it feels like the old Bucs. That's what I'm telling you. It just, unfortunately, it feels familiar. And that's the thing I think that bothers me more than anything is it feels freaking familiar. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. I'm done feeling that way as a Bucks fan. I thought I thought even let me say this though. Let me say this. The Jets for years and years and years would have killed for this record. And look at who the Buccaneers have played this year. They had a brutal schedule. And look at where the Bucks are. They still may be above 500. The Jets feel like the Jets. No, there's more than 2 wins. Okay, this doesn't even feel like the old Bucks. We've just gotten spoiled over the last couple of years. Hallelujah, we've gotten spoiled after the after the last couple of years. I mean, yeah, this fan base deserves to get spoiled a little bit, but now I will say this, and I want to have my minute with the fans here, guys. Stop. I mean, literally, you missed the 3-year run. We're going to make the playoffs this year. You're complaining. You've been complaining for the last 2 years, the entire year. All you've done is complained, called for Byron's head, called for Bruce Arians' head, called for Bowles' head. I mean, you've called for Winston to come back. I've seen everything from you guys. You missed it. This was the fun part, guys. This is the fun part. This is the tail end of the fun part. All right. We're going to go to the playoffs again this year. Enjoy it. I got a secret. Enjoy it. You don't know how long it's going to be till we go again. Okay. So enjoy it. All right. Guys, stop complaining. Now's the time to have fun. This Sunday, try something. Everybody in here, everybody who watches this now, who's watching live, or if you're watching, on a replay, if you go back and watch it, everybody try one thing. Try to have fun when you watch the game. Win or lose, have fun. I mean, seriously, this is football. It's supposed to be a good time.
Nachos always helps me.
You don't need awesome. You don't need to go online and tell everybody how incredibly intelligent you are about football and tell everybody what the Buccaneers should have done. Because, you, the server at TGI Fridays, you know what to do. Okay? No, guys, listen. We don't know what they know. All right? Does that excuse everything? No, but you know what? I'm a Bucks fan. I'm assuming if you're here listening, you're a Bucks fan. Act like it. Okay? Act like it. If you couldn't do it during the Super Bowl year, if you couldn't do it last year winning the division, if you can't do it now when we're fighting for a division, if you can't do it now, stop calling yourself a fan. Just embrace it and say, yeah, I'm a hater. And I just happen to hate on the Bucks more than everybody else. I wear their jersey just because that gives me a right to hate on them more. Stop. Enjoy this. Have fun. Enjoy the freaking game. It's a game. So you don't need to tell us how smart you are and go online and pontificate about how you would have done things far better than these guys and how you're so much better than Brady, how you're so much better than Bowles, how you're so much better than Byron Leftwich. Okay, we get it. You're you know what? Next time I'm in TGI Fridays and you serve me, I'll give you a pat on the back for being so brilliant. Okay? But just 1 week, try to be a fan. That's really all. That's the message I want to leave everybody with. Try to be a fan. I mean, Dave, you got any last words?
Yeah, this is interesting because you remember when you said you were wanting to look forward, and I started looking up mock drafts.
Yeah.
I went to Tankathon, and right now the Bucs would pick 19th, and you know who they have going to the Bucs at 19?
Oh.
Anthony Richardson from the University of Florida. So help is on the way.
All right, guys. Have a great night. We appreciate you joining us here on this first ever Bucs Live. You can find all of our links at www.bucs.live. Thank you to Bucs Report for allowing us to share a little bit of their a little bit of their digital airspace. And guys, all of you come back next Tuesday at 9:00. Hopefully things will be a little bit better than what we had to face this week. Dave, hopefully you'll be in a better mood about the Bucs.
I said I was hopeful. I just don't see it, but I have hope. And Christmas is on Sunday, and we'll see you. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
That's right. Go Bucs! Go Bucs! Go Bucs!